This is 44 Harsh Truths About the Game of Life. Naval Ravikant, 4K, from Chris Williamson. My honest verdict is that while Naval Ravikant shares some insightful ideas on success and happiness, the biggest problem with this episode is that it often prioritizes sounding profound over providing practical, evidence-based advice. One of the most significant ideas from the episode is that happiness is being satisfied with what you have, but success comes from dissatisfaction. Naval Ravikant states, happiness is being satisfied with what you have. Success comes from dissatisfaction. This idea is simple yet thought-provoking, as it highlights the paradox that happiness often requires contentment, while success often requires striving for more. What's strong about this idea is that it acknowledges the complexity of human desires and motivations. However, what's weak is that it oversimplifies the relationship between happiness and success, implying that they are mutually exclusive. Another idea that Naval Ravikant explores is the concept of suffering and its relationship to progress. He notes that most of the gains in life come from suffering in the short term, so you can get paid in the long term. This idea is intriguing, but what's weak is that it relies on a vague definition of suffering, which can be misleading. For instance, Naval Ravikant distinguishes between physical pain and mental anguish, but doesn't provide clear guidance on how to differentiate between the two in practice. My take is that this idea, while well-intentioned, needs more nuance and context to be truly useful. Naval Ravikant also discusses the importance of attention as the real currency of life, stating that the real currency of life is attention. It's what you choose to pay attention to and what you do about it. This idea is strong because it highlights the significance of focus and intention in achieving one's goals. What's weak is that it doesn't provide concrete strategies for managing attention in a world filled with distractions. My take is that this idea is a valuable reminder to prioritize attention, but it needs to be accompanied by practical advice on how to do so effectively. The episode also touches on the idea that fame is not a worthwhile goal in and of itself. Naval Ravikant notes that fame is this funny thing where a lot of people know you, but you don't know them. This idea is strong because it encourages listeners to rethink their motivations for seeking fame. What's weak is that it doesn't provide alternative goals or strategies for achieving success and recognition. My take is that this idea is a useful corrective to the pervasive cultural emphasis on fame, but it needs to be balanced with a more positive vision of what it means to make a meaningful impact. Finally, Naval Ravikant discusses the importance of getting past one's past and not being held back by negative experiences. He notes that you will eventually get tired of trying to untangle that knot, and you will just drop it because you will realize life is short, and the more you have more you want to accomplish in this life, actually the less time you have to unravel that thing. This idea is strong because it acknowledges the need to move forward and focus on the present. What's weak is that it doesn't provide sufficient guidance on how to process and deal with past traumas or difficulties. My take is that this idea is a helpful reminder to prioritize the present, but it needs to be accompanied by more nuanced advice on how to navigate complex emotions and experiences. In conclusion, while this episode offers some insightful ideas on success and happiness, it often prioritizes sounding profound over providing practical, evidence-based advice. My honest overall take is that this episode is worth listening to for its thought-provoking ideas, but listeners should be cautious of oversimplifications and vague definitions. The most useful takeaway is the importance of attention as the real currency of life, and I would encourage listeners to explore this idea further with more practical strategies and nuanced discussions.